Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the stream. It's a rather exciting event. We are coming to the end of the Kickstarter. We've got 2 hours left, and so what I thought I'd do is I'd play some of level 2, which I have just finished, and have a look at some of the new monsters, new creatures, some of the rules, have a little demo. This is the first time that I've properly tested this game, this level, so we're going to see how it goes. But also, because it's been such an awesome campaign, everybody's been so fantastic, I am keen to hear people's responses and answer some questions and do all that type of thing. Let me just do a voice check here. Here we go. Hi Steve, hi Nick, hi Brian. Okay. Oh, I'm very bright here. Let me just check. Hi Steve, hi Nick, hi Brian. Let me check the mic. Hang on. Let me just check. Hi Steve, hi Nick, hi Brian. Let me just check the mic. Aha. There we go. That's better. Trust, yes. Okay, good. I'm going to just dim the lights a little bit as well. What have we got? I think it's that one, isn't it? There we go. Okay. Right. Hi Stephen. Hi Turtle Go. Hey Jason. Jason says the game looks really good. I'm excited. Hopefully the sound is now a lot better than it was. Yeah, it sounds like it is. Good. And we just had Jen come in for £115. Thank you. That is an awesome. And you'll see on the screen, I've managed to figure out how to put a little tracker bar for the Kickstarter on that screen so we can see how it's doing. And oh my God, it has been amazing. I kind of wander around in a state of like shock some of the time when I check my updates, and I get the updates through when the Kickstarter stuff comes in, and I'm like, wow, this wasn't what we expected. This is absolutely amazing and we love it. But you know, if anything, what it does is it excites me about the future. Not just this project, but the future expansions and all that type of thing that we've been talking about. I mean, we could probably mention a few of those things. Let me just... Right, let's just get everything. Okay. Cody, how you doing? BFW182. Good to see you. Sounds fine. Good. Kasak, welcome, my friend. Right, I just need to get the chat up on this device here in front of me. This has got a better screen. Here we go. This has got a better screen. Yeah, there's me again. Here we go. This has got a better screen. There we go. Right. Guess you won't need me to shout out Kickstarter updates today. It is. It has been amazing, and you know, I just feel so sort of humbled and excited about the future and what we're going to have to offer when it comes to the game, and just the community. Wow. I mean, there's so many people involved, leaving messages on the Facebook page. Board Game Geek starting to grow as well. We even had someone open up a Reddit page, which was something that I was thinking about. I wasn't so sure about it because I don't spend a huge amount of time on Reddit, and some people have told me it's quite toxic. You know, I have yet to really see that, but I guess I also kind of wonder to myself, how can I spread myself out over so many platforms? Woohoo! Patrick comes in with, I like that. Javier says, hey Toby, final stretch. Congrats on the successful campaign. Cheers from Argentina. Chilean expat living in Edinburgh. Haha. Excellent. Wow. You've got around. Good. So, wow. Great to see everybody here. Everybody's been reaching out to me, and I'd like to reach out to you through this stream and just say thank you. And if you're watching the vlog back, I'll try not to go too much into this, but the way this game has evolved from this core that I've been developing over the year, last sort of year, to all the contributions and ideas and the feedback has kind of given it this really strong foundation, and it's from there that we're pushing forward with the new levels. And I wanted to talk a bit about the levels, talk about level 2, answer any questions about where the game's going, that type of thing. Lars says hello from California. Wow, is it nice weather out there at the moment? Is it? I kind of hear that it's always nice weather in California. So I have printed out the new tabled codex. Sunny day today. Nice. Very nice weather currently. Brilliant. Maybe we could have a few places put in the chat here. Where are people based? Toby, did you get my 3 feedback emails okay? Would like to discuss the guardhouse as it has me running up against a brick wall. Okay. Yes. Feedback on the new rooms is going to be obviously put into the second pile. I had to really focus down on getting the tables done this week so that I can get those out to everybody and have that kind of solid. And then the rule set at the moment is pretty good. I'm going to have one more session next week when I add in a few little bits, add in a few optional rules, and we'll see how it goes from there. But then for level 2, yes. Okay, so the guardhouse is tough, is it? I'll have to have a look at that. So I guess probably the best place to start, so people get a bit of an idea, is with the Lancashire. Okay, just upgraded to the leather hardback. Can't wait. M3RJ, thank you. That is awesome. Not tough, just doesn't work. Oh, okay. Well, that is interesting. Now, what Steve is talking about is one of the new rooms. I'm going to have a look at this in here. But, anyway, get slightly distracted. I have to apologise as well. I'm a little bit bunged up. There's been a cold going around my house, and my wife and my son have both had COVID. So it's been a fairly stressful week, as in health. And last night I got some chills in the night, so I was like, "Oh dear, have I got COVID?" And this day I've been much better. I'm just a bit nasal, so I do apologise if that comes across in that. We'll page 36. Haven't even had a proper chance to look through this yet. So the guardhouse. Reinforced doors. If you can pick the lock, liberate one prisoner. If you can't, then patrol comes. Roll on L2P. Crinkle Chips. Hi, Wiltshire resident here. Wiltshire. Very nice. Well done with the campaign. Thank you, Crinkle Chips. Great name. Despite the, we're going to push on despite the cold. So basically, with the there's going to be two versions. There's the free version, which anybody can download and play. That is going to be available on Board Game Geek and the Facebook page, and it'll be clearly highlighted as the free version, and that will be updated whenever it needs to be, and hopefully it won't need to be. That's the point. We want to get that to a point where anybody can just download it and play it, and when they can come into our community that we've created. Matt Reynard, hey, been watching this Kickstarter for a while, and good to see it's done so well. Looking forward to it. Hello from the wet and wild Dorset. I love Dorset. Now, I like all the other counties that have been mentioned so far, but we happened to go to Dorset last summer. We did a 3 or 4 day camping trip down in Dorset, and it was lovely. Some of the coastal towns down there, just beautiful. Tom, hi, how you doing, Tom? Hi all, watching while at work, so will likely just lurk and listen when I can. Tom, pleasure to have you here, my friend. You can lurk away. Feel free. Steve, I was looking for a table L1PR. That explains it. However, is that the quality of a lock? Yes. So, one of the things I will clarify with the rules update next week, and I know everybody's been sending me lots of lovely feedback. I've got like about 30 sheets of feedback to go through, and I'll go through each one, checking it against what I've got, deciding whether some of it will go in, whether some of it doesn't quite fit, and whether it's in the flavour of the game, and this is something, it's really fascinating actually. What I've been finding is I don't want to make it too complex. Now, some of you may say, wow, the rules are pretty complex, but actually, in my mind, they're not too bad. And I don't want to add too much stuff, it will then sort of get a bit too unwieldy. And that is something I'm trying to avoid. So I'm looking at sort of forward momentum as key and not trying to backtrack too much into the dungeon. But I guess we could talk about that later. Yes, so liberate one prisoner is... I should have put that... yes. That's appeared in the room, so it needs a little note. I'll make that more clear. Lock quality is my question as well. Yes. So when you... Yeah, this is... that's the codex table. We need the rulebook here. That's the old codex. Right, this is the cool rules. So, I don't know whether I put it in this version here, because depending on what version is. So basically, to pick this lock, you'll need to roll higher or equal this number on 2d6. You only get one roll, and you apply your precision modifier to the roll. Lock picks can be found in dungeon, but you do not start with a set, and they can also be of varying quality indicated by the modifier. They will have a number of uses. Lock picks. This one might not have it. So basically, with the lock quality, it's either minus or plus to that roll, depending on the quality of that lock. It just makes it easier when you do that lock pick, if you see what I mean. So if it's a poor quality lock, it's easier to pick than it would be if it was a better quality lock, naturally, if you see what I'm getting at. Right, let me just try. Silver Knife, hello my friend. Excellent feedback as well. Thank you for that. I think, are you sending me feedback? That could be what it is. Hello, found your game yesterday and backed. I printed it out last night and laminated all the cards and bound the books. Can't wait to give it a run later today. That is great news, Ilarian. Brilliant stuff. I look forward to hearing what you've got to say about that. You can always go to the Facebook group if you want and upload your maps to that. People are loving seeing other people's maps. It's just such a great... And the stories. Yoni Gomez, hello. I thought this would start in 1 hour. Lucky I checked before. Congratulations on the amazing campaign. Thank you. I probably battered your name there. I apologise. I think the most complex part for me is remembering all of the steps. So a good crib sheet is essential while learning the game. Yes, Jonathan, That's for sure. And that's something I want to stress. People have offered suggestions about crib sheets. They're going to be in there. We have some in there already. Let's not forget, there's ones, tables like this at the back of the book that you can print out separately and have next to you while you're playing. There's also a little guide now in the rules, and there's also the bookmark, and we're just going to have generally as many crib sheets as I feel you get to a point where you're not repeating yourself, if you see what I mean. I'm trying to bring that as much as I can. Thanks, Jonathan. Joe creates, how can we leave feedback? Right, so the best way to leave feedback is to email it to Toby, Toby, at drgames.co.uk. Now, that is my website, our website, and that's the email address. And I basically, what I do then is, if you send it to me as a document, I then print that off and put it with the pile of stuff. And then when it's my day to go through the rules, I go through those documents, marking through stuff, highlighting stuff, and then transferring that across to the rule. And I kind of try and strike a balance as I'm reading through it. And I kind of make a decision, whether that kind of works or whether that's in the right kind of vein I want the game to go in. So then, and I try not to make it too complex. So, but I'm getting some amazing feedback. Oh, I'm constantly amazed at how skilled people are. Things like editing and spotting errors and all that type of thing. Okay, Nick, on the guardhouse, it doesn't list a quality of lock to hit was the issue. That would be it. Right, there you go. So while I'm on stream, I always have a piece of paper next to me where I can make notes. There's my pencil. Quality of lock on guardhouse. So these guys that you're hearing here are talking about one of the rooms in the new level 2, which we're just testing at the moment. It's been sent out to testers today. Thank you, Ryan, for the pledge there. And you'll notice we've got a little ticker on the screen. You can see that going up as we get more people on the Kickstarter. Right. Look at all these amazing people. I'm going to try and say your name again. Unai. That sounds all right. Unai says, look at those amazing... Yeah, it is. We have some amazing people. Flipping smart people who come in and help and contribute and suggest all wonderful things. Matthew Fawcett, so pleased for how good the Kickstarter's gone. This is what it is for, to help small independent companies get their game made, not what it has turned into, which is a pre-order system. And yeah, I've got to be a little bit careful. I might get a little bit overwhelmed because the support has been quite staggering, and I've got to be a little bit careful not to think too hard on it because it has been absolutely staggering. My business is, I've been sort of working on some solo player games for a few years now, and it's largely me. My wife, she handles all the logistics, so she does the parcels, some of the admin, and then I've got 3 teenagers, and they contribute a little bit. They're obviously teenagers, so getting them to do any work is always difficult, but sometimes do some drawing or some packing for me. So it really is a family operation. But that doesn't mean to say that we're not bringing some real expertise to this, because I've spent many years in design and I'm a lifelong gamer. So it's kind of a culmination of a number of things that has got me to this position. And to be presented with all you amazing people. Right, I'm so behind. Let me try and get through some of this. Thank you, Matthew, for that comment. Steve, understood, but what is the quality of the lock in the guardhouse? Yes, I will put one in. Give it a number, say 8. Silver Knife, yeah, I've been reading, playing, and feedbacking. Yes, exactly. I remember Silver Knife. Brian says there is a summary of the rules. What steps to do? Yes, in the rules there is. There's a little section that is going to go on a separate crib sheet. So that is awesome. So I'm currently cleaning up my map and in character play log journal to share soon. Brilliant. We all look forward to seeing that, Silver Knife. Matthew says, have been watching your playthrough on YouTube and really liked what I've been seeing so far. Have enjoyed playing level 1. Brilliant. You wait until you see level 2. And we will talk about that in a minute. I think it's just important to get some of these initial messages read because I feel like I'm sort of indebted to you guys. So I want to hear your voice. Are you still aiming to get the game out in May? Yes, is the answer to that. Now, some of you may think, wow, that is quite an amazing feat to do. But you've got to bear in mind that I work on this full time. I work very quickly. The thing that will hold me back, there's two things. Picking up the errors in the tables, which is quite tricky sometimes, because they're so kind of correlated with lots of other things, and you've got to make sure they're pointing in the right direction. And also, the amount of stretch goals, which I'm not complaining about, that have been passed. So I'm kind of conscious that is added in another week's work onto my schedule. The aim is to have it printed so that when we go to UK Expo, we can sell the physical copies there as well, which is the conference in the beginning of June. So we really want to get that done, and we really want to get it out to people ASAP. When I said this isn't something I want to be sitting around in my house for the next 10 months. This is a game I want to play tomorrow. And I want you guys to be able to play it tomorrow. Yes, I know. And Crinkle Chips, you're gonna probably come back to me and say, remind me. Remember you said May? Oh, I'm trying. That is the goal. Your enthusiasm is one of the best things for me. Quite infectious. Well, that's very kind of you, Jonathan. I am very passionate about these things. It drives my wife insane. I don't know how she puts up with me, but I'm just really lucky to be able to do the things that I do, and I appreciate that every day. 104 minutes for us to pass the 65 stretch goal equals 11th level. Dr. Orchid comes in with, well, I did say that I was going to add another stretch goal, and I thought there's no way we're going to go beyond 60k. We pushed beyond 60k, and I'm looking at it and thinking, this is anything beyond this is just a bonus. I don't really know what as the next stretch goal I could put. I mean, level 11, that is a really sneaky one. There's going to be lots of goodness, okay? I'm able to now... The future of this game is secured because of this campaign. The future of my company is secured for the next year or two because of this campaign. So you're going to see lots of 2d6 goodness. It's going to expand. I'm going to put extra stuff in there anyway. So you can imagine... So just the success of this is like lots of extra stretch goals. And you never know. There may be that extra bonus last level that appears at some point. Maybe as a kind of like a gift or something to all these awesome supporters. And we've got more backers coming in, which is fantastic. Look at that. What was I say? Silver Knife, when something is locked, don't you roll 2d6 to determine the quality of the lock? It may be that, because I've looked at this rule so many times, it's kind of blurred in my head a little bit, and I've got to kind of assess it when we get forward. And I really shouldn't. You probably think, well, you wrote the rules, why don't you? I didn't print out the latest rules because I thought these ones would suffice. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll get back to that. Unai says, perfect. Because I think that sounds beautiful. John says, I haven't even got past level 1 yet. Haha! Well, you will. You will. I've nerfed some elements of level 1. So, BFW182 says, love the stream like this. Love streams like this. I really enjoy seeing the process of updating rules and testing, etc. Yeah, it is. I'm fascinated by it. It's really cool. It's actually your streams and seeing your personality that made me back you. Well, that's... You're going to make me embarrassed. Keep up the great work. I'm trying to... I just try and focus on the things that I'm enjoying doing, and it seems that everybody else is enjoying that as well, so that is cool. I love the fact that my first dungeon ended in a series of corridors. I could have hand waved a door, but I took the option of saying it was a small abandoned dungeon and moved on. Lee, that is cool. The way the narratives are weaving in people's explorations, if you just follow what the die say, it just brings you to a whole new kind of experience. If you're honest with the roles and you just follow what it does, it makes the narrative for you. It's fantastic. You know, stretch goals are under RSGO1 table. Good chips for you're full time. That's brilliant. Well done. Yes, Crinkle Chips. Yes, I am. That is part of the reason why I think it's not unfeasible that I can get this ready for the end of May. Loving playing this. Good day from New Zealand, Lee. That is the other side of the world, isn't it? I've spent much time in Australia. I know it's not the same, but I do love it over there. But of course, Toby, Radzone Totality comes first, right? Yes. Steve is a big fan of Radzone Totality, which was my last game. Well, actually, the game before the last one, and that's done very well. It's got like a hardcore following. I think I like to think. Where are we at here? Chat could probably check your tables graph. Yes, Joe. Yeah, we got lots of people checking stuff, and they come in with lists of things. I've sent out level 2 to some of the testers. Now, if you're a tester and you've sent me feedback already and you haven't got level 2, email me at toby@drgames.co.uk and say, I haven't got the level 2 to test, and I will send you the files for level 2, which we will talk about in a sec. More tavern events. Kasak, yes, we're going to get a whole load of more tavern events. And actually, I'm going to make sure that some of those go into the main core rules for this version. And not as part of an expansion. There will be an update. There will be more to come from the taverns. And just generally, people have expressed to me that they enjoy that side of it as well. Now, in the future, there will be an expansion for overland exploration, incorporating some of these mechanisms. But I've also got some ideas for some other mechanisms which we will incorporate in there. And I'm keen to have kingdoms for the players, so they can build their castle or that type of thing. Now, that's not an original idea, but the way that I'm thinking about it is going to be interesting. The management of the land and buying the land off people, interactions with people when you're buying land off them, that kind of AI type experience. Cody, I think I may have missed a message from you before. I hope I didn't. The next big project for sure, I bet. Hi Toby. Alexander, grats for your... Thank you very much. Appreciate the support, my friend. Patrick Morrissey, has anyone else gotten past the third room in a dungeon? My 2 second, third room, 1 roll up 2 or even 3 enemies, and by the time I kill 1, we're on turn 4 and the other enemy is killing me. Well, I don't know whether you're using an older rule set there. I've nerfed the number of enemies you can find in certain rooms now, so there's less enemies, so it's more like 2. And also we've got fearful momentum, which you can use, which can be successful. If you pick the weaker one and kill them in the first swing, you then get +2 on round 2 of the combat, and it gives you more of a chance. And you know, that is pretty unlucky, to be honest, Patrick, because I think if you go on the Facebook group, you can see how many people have worked through the dungeon. I think as well, when you first start out, you can have a healing potion and a scroll of mental whip, and the mental whip can do 10 damage. The healing potion can heal 10 damage, so you've got kind of like a bit of a buffer when you first go into those initial rooms. So you should be able to push beyond those, my friend, with any luck. It's, again, you know, there is player choice, but there's also luck involved with the game, as with a lot of games. I mean, it's just how it is, isn't it? As with life. So I assume that applied to the room as well. I missed that bit there. Jonathan, 4D chess. I'm playing 2D6 Dungeon while watching a stream by the guy who made the game, as the Kickstarter for the game comes. As I see what you're saying. Right? Yes. Yes. It's a complex tapestry that we weave, isn't it? Question from Barchies. Q. Are the other levels already conceptually laid out? Theme, creatures, events, etc. Or are you letting us evolve level by level? Right, they are. Yes, and we'll briefly go over that. Nick is answering Silver Knife. Thank you, Nick. Nick, yes. Yeah, I recommended taking Mental Whip Scroll and save it for when you get outnumbered. Exactly. The kennel room still allows for 3, 2 dogs and a guard, I think. Maybe it does. I'll have to check. Nick, do I see where you're... I do see where you're coming from, though. Yes. Well, I have nerfed quite a lot of them, so hopefully there aren't too many 3 encounters. Well done on your fantastic Kickstarter, Andrew Levy says. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. It has been exhilarating, to say the least. Is my Kickstarter count going up? Hang on. Let me just check something here. Just bear with me one sec. Right. I think it's okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is quickly talk about the levels. Cody, how do you get into the headspace to write as much as you do? Routine or rituals to help you, like listening to certain music or something like that? That's a really great question, Cody. I have a vivid imagination. So I'm really lucky. Over the years, I've worked on lots of different idea generation techniques, and I've always been very creative. I'm an artist as well as a writer, so I kind of think outside the box. I've also done a lot of gaming, a lot of role-playing, and so I've got lots of examples in my head, so I kind of know what the atmosphere is like, so I know what kind of people expect from it, but yeah, I can also add my own angle on it. I listen to music that doesn't have any words. I can't listen to music with words. So, for instance, the one I'm listening to the moment is the Interstellar soundtrack. So I'll have that playing quite loud. If I'm knuckling down and I've got to write, say, 25 rooms, I'll knuckle down and I'll write that in a couple of hours. That isn't such a problem for me. I think the problem is then putting it into the tables, and I wouldn't say it's a problem, it's just harder when you start to put it into the tables. You've got to make sure everything's connected up. That is where the challenge is, I would say. I've always been really lucky. I never get any sort of writer's block. I'm always able to just plow on. I've done a hell of a lot of creative writing in the past, and I'm good at improvising on the spot because I've been a teacher for many years before I was doing this full time. So you kind of learn to think on the spot, and that I've apply that to this. Those kind of. Lauren, how are you doing? Says instrumental music all the way. Yes, the Interstellar. It's great. I like listening to soundtracks for movies, actually. So, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Interstellar, Star Wars, The Mandalorian. I like some of that music. That's very exciting. So that is all kind of applies. I love all that stuff. I don't know whether is my counter going up there on the screen. I can't tell. Let me. I recommend Stellaris soundtrack. Brilliant. I shall make a note of that. Thank you. Yep. That film's been made twice, isn't it? Stellaris. Is it made twice? Is the PDF version ready to be sent out, or do you need some more time to wrap things up? If so, no hurry. I'm just curious. Congrats on the impressively successful campaign. Thank you, King Cool Japo. Thank you. Yes. No. It's not. I've just basically finished level 2. Now in the dungeon there are, and I should have really. Hang on. Let me get something. That doesn't seem to be going up. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to access it on my phone so we can have a look at it. So, yeah, so that isn't ticking up now for some reason. It's because the active screen isn't registering, so it only updates when it's... Let's have a look. Yeah, there it is. Very annoying. Oh well, I thought I was being so clever. Yeah. Okay. We'll look at it on my phone. Now, there are 10 levels, okay? Sorry if I'm missing any of the messages. Melvin says, I particularly like the music of Goblin when doing creative work. Not very familiar with that myself. It sounds like some sort of heavy metal thing. Oh, nice. I personally like the 1982 Conan soundtrack. Cody, that is on my playlist as well. Awesome set, awesome music. Recommend it heavily. Already listened. Yes, if you haven't already. I love it. Clive, good to see you, Clive. Good to see you. I'm the same. I'll also listen to music in the foreign languages so that I cannot understand the words and they don't interfere with my thoughts. Exactly. It does. It gets into your mind, doesn't it? And you're kind of like, what? You get distracted. You kind of like suddenly words that you're listening to appear in what you're actually writing. they're like bombarding you. Now, that's not to say that I haven't written with stuff like that, and there are varying levels of intensity when it comes to writing for me. So if I'm creatively coming up with new ideas, then I definitely know sound. If I'm just kind of writing general text, it's filler text, I could have something in the background. Maybe I do like to listen to podcasts and Twitch streams and stuff like that. And in fact, I put a list on this channel of some of this stuff I like to listen. If you can scroll down and see some of the channels that I watch. I do love watching YouTube. We just had Theodore pledge £131. Thank you, Theodore. That is awesome, my friend. Thank you very much. Javier says, Toby, my wife is extremely curious about what you have in your shelves in the background. Could you please tell Linda about the stuff? Well, that is a really good question. Now, I am a collector maniac. We've got. I quite like collecting stormtrooper heads. We've got a couple up there, and there's a plushie behind it as well. But you can also see here, there's Dark Future. Now, that is a board game. I don't know whether you can see. There's not a lot of light. So there's Talisman, Battle Mech up there. I quite like BattleTech type stuff as well. There's a Millennium Falcon up there. So I love collecting. I've got so much crap. If I gave you a tour of my office, it's so nice to be able to work in an office where I can just throw in all sorts of cultural references. I just see so much depth in some of what we're so lucky to have all this creative culture around us, aren't we? I love it all. So Linda, I hope, is it Lydia? Sorry. I hope that is that answers your question. I was brought up on Games Workshop games. Dark Future, that's my original Dark Future up there. I loved that kind of post-apocalyptic theme. It's one of the inspirations for Radzone, the game. My game here, you can see, that's my T-shirt, Radzone, and that is one of the big inspirations. What have we got here? +1 and +2 are additional favour points if you use a said item. Right, I'm missing some stuff here. Sorry about that, guys. Third, if it's Goblin, Guardian, the career series is very good and have great music. Right, so you guys are off on another plane there. I can see I completely... Dave says, I listen to Viking music and the music for Skyrim, the computer game, as it is very chilled music for those exceptionally late nights. Yes, I have Skyrim on my playlist as well, and love it. My teenagers, when that comes on, they're like, oh, Skyrim, we love it, and it's awesome, very cool music. And what else did you put there? Skyrim and Viking music, yes. There's a couple of playlists on YouTube which I bring up sometimes, and they have this lovely kind of Celtic green image, and the music, it's so primal. When they're using those drums, it really, you can kind of feel it. Let me just have a look. Correct. Those are all from what I was when I was a kid back in the 80s. I had Dark Future. Dave, I think someone else said it as well. Yes, it's so cool, Dark Future. Good to see you. Welcome in. You are part of the Red Box Set gang, no doubt. Dark Future, a blast from the past. Absolutely. Great game. Mechanics could have been a bit better, but it didn't matter. What are you all playing solo these days? I borrowed Dungeon Degenerates from a friend and started yesterday having a blast with that. Cool. I have over 3,000 board games, including those. Brian, awesome. Thank you for satisfying her curiosity, mate. Yeah, Radzone, bring on the RPG version. I know, Steve, that is definitely, that's in the works. And you know from the Facebook group that I've started to develop ideas for that. At the moment, though, obviously 2D6 Dungeon is a priority. But there will be more news at the UK Games Expo as well about that. Samuel Kitt takes movie TV scores and kicks it up to 11. Let me write that down. Samuel Kim. Awesome. I also still have Battle Cars. Yes. Now, I never really played Battle Cars that much, I'll be honest with you. It was just slightly before my time into that area. Wasn't Battle Cars more America? That was the other Steve Jackson, wasn't it? Am I wrong there? I can't remember. Neil Day, my line drawing isn't very good. Is there a map program that you can recommend so I can use a mouse to draw the grid? Actually, yes, there is. The guys in chat will know what it's called. I personally don't use it, but if you go in there on the Facebook group, you'll see there's two programs which they use. So I think Steve, if you want to mention in there what that is, that would be awesome. I'm definitely interested in a Radzone RPG if it was made solo friendly. Now that is interesting, Crinkle Chips. I am looking at that, but largely the original Radzone Totality, is a solo player roleplay game, if you like. So it kind of covers those bases. So I didn't want to kind of backtrack too much, but you know, with my experience now of making solo games, I'll probably incorporate tables which will facilitate stuff like that. So we'll just have to see. Clive Sutherland says, did you ever play the original 1995 Warhammer Quest? Well, no. 1995 was when it probably just dropped off for me. I met my wife when I was a year or two before that. So I was kind of preoccupied with other things. So I never really was into the Warhammer Quest, but Hero Quest, Space Hulk, all those games, they've just filled my memories with awesomeness. Blood Bowl, my God, hundreds of games of Blood Bowl. And I still play that online, actually. I still play that now. They just released Blood Bowl 4, is it? Or was it Blood Bowl 3? Blood Bowl 3. And I've played a couple of games of that, and I really, really love the old Blood Bowl. Dave, which another backer, John for 33. Thank you, John. Yeah, and the tracker's going up there. That is 62,000. I just can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Bloody hell, you guys are awesome. Wow. Woman Quest 95 is probably my first dungeon crawler. Oh, yes. Well, I played the kind of the earlier generation of dungeon crawlers before Woman Quest. I know Woman Quest is meant to be bloody cool. Some of the YouTubers I watch speak very highly of it, but I never played it really. It was just I was slightly too old, unfortunately, showing my age. Online dungeon drawing, dungeon scrawl. That's it. Thank you, Clive. Battle Cars. Leopard, how you doing, my friend? Battle Cars was Games Workshop box set. Gary Chalk art on the right. Okay, that's right. Yes, that's right. Anyone remember Top Secret from TSR Games? Came out around the same time as Advanced D&D. Top Secret was spy type of role-playing game. I have heard of it. I've heard of Matt Colville talking about that. I watched Matt Colville's Twitch stream. He's I don't agree with everything he says, but it's certainly very interesting to watch someone who's so frank about their own work and the business, and he's got a lot of fascinating things to say. Space Hulk 2nd edition's forever my favourite. Yeah, Space Hulk is awesome. Gene Stealers, Space Marines, just Terminators. You just got to. It's just so cool, and those plastic doorways and the Gene Stealers, all their arms. I must get my hands on a copy. I did get rid of a lot of my stuff a few years back when we moved to Australia, which I deeply regret now, unfortunately. We're now back in the UK instantly. I'm missing some stuff here. Patrick, I emailed to see if it... Okay, excellent. Thanks, Patrick. I'll get back to you. Blood Bowl 3. DM me your Steam name and we'll schedule a game. Patrick! I will. You email me and I'll sort you out. And be prepared to be whipped up by my Skaven. That's great. I have Radzone PDF. It seems to need a lot of printing out. If you could produce dry erase maps, that would make it much more friendly. Looks nice though. Crinkle Chips, there are dry erase maps with the box set. And some of those will be available at UK Games Expo. We didn't send those out with the early edition because they were large and we couldn't fold them and fit them in. The postage is a nightmare. Sending stuff out across the world is ridiculous. It is so tough. But it's so expensive, I should say. Quick Chips Get yourself some laminate or laminator. Jonathan says, yeah, get yourself a laminator. Space Hulk is just awesome. Dave, good to see you. Yes, it is awesome. What a game that was. Had all the right influences. You've got to say, a lot of the 1980s films really channeled in some great stuff into these games, like Alien. Oh, really cool. Because Alien was 79, I think, and Aliens after. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So let me just have a little look here on the Kickstarter page. I just want to bring up a picture. I don't have separate. I should have printed it out, really. Where is it? Because I want to use it as a just to demonstrate something. Okay, so here, right on my phone, we have the list of the levels that we're going to have in the game. Okay, so we've got the entry and we've got the domain. Right, these are the two human habitat zones. Okay, these two share some of the same tables and enemies. Okay. Now, the whole dungeon is a human ancestry dungeon. They live kind of large on this level. Now, they do expand into the lower levels, but the lower levels have themes, and they're kind of in groups of two. So you've got the crypt level, which is kind of talking about the heritage of the dungeon. And of course, you're going to have undead, you're going to have skeletons, you're going to have zombies, some of the classic tropes of dungeon crawling. And then the haunted, so more on the ethereal stuff. You can buy self-adhesive laminate sheets in a roll. Yes, you can. There's so many ways of doing it. Listen, there are some really inventive solo players out there who have all the kit, and I'm always impressed when I go onto a Facebook page and I see printed out my sets of cards today, laminated. I'm just like, wow, that is so cool. I like to print mine and slip them into sleeves, cards, for example, like these ones here. Just put them into a sleeve, print the back. Right, so we've got two. We've got the haunted and the crypt. They're sort of undead levels there. All right. Then we've got the infernal and the cultist den. Okay, so they're two levels. Again, these two levels are going to share some of the same tables. So you won't necessarily get you'll get so one incidents and happenings table for both those levels. It will count for both those levels. So and in that way, there's not going to be this huge difficulty increase as we go through the levels. And the Infernal and the Cultists is all about the Infernal monks and their history. And we're going to be looking at how they have got to this position and how they've taken over this level. And there's going to be all sorts of different kind of cult type stuff going on there, kind of classic D&D type stuff. Thank you for the update there, Steve. Has anyone tried the game by Mantic called Dungeon Saga? Dave? No, I haven't actually. So we've got level 7 and level 8, the Menagerie and the Monster Maze. So here we are deeper into the dungeon. We're beyond the domain of the living domain at the top, beyond the undead. We're now into a classic type monster environment. One sec. Oh, excuse me. So we've got classic monsters. Going to be a whole range of monsters down there that we would have kind of got used to and seen in many games. But, you know, my own take on it, of course. And then at the bottom, we've got the Cursed and the Dungeon Lords. So these are some of the more got them, obviously the more powerful humanoids at the bottom, but there's also going to be sort of god-related stuff in these last 2 levels here. So you can see it's all human-based, in the sense, the menagerie and the monster maze, the humans have kind of gathered these creatures to be in the dungeon. The infernal and the cultists, they're kind of like the human cultists. The crypt and the haunted, they're the undead humans, and, you know, well, they're dead or buried. And then you've got the kind of entry and domain, which is like where they live and kind of operate from. And then, of course, at the bottom, you've got that the bosses. So that's kind of where we're at. There's going to be lots of exciting things to explore. I can't wait to write the next level. I've already written, to be honest, a lot of level 3. So we're looking good. We're looking really good. And by doing that, by having the undead, the kind of the cults, the monsters, and then these powerful lords, I'm in a position where I can, I'm giving myself exciting new stuff to create. So it pushes me on. So that's another really, really nice thing. I've kind of set it up nicely so that we're in the right position. Right. Okay, good. So we've had a little look at that. Well, and that's just the human dungeon. That is correct. So you've sort of hit the nail on the head there, Jonathan. We're going to have I think it's going to be an orc or a goblin or a green skin ancestry. I don't know, kind of. I don't know how I'm going to class it yet. But it's going to be a dungeon with sort of classic imps and goblins and stuff like that in it. But it's also going to look slightly different because I've got some ideas about rules, how I can change the appearance of some of the dungeon. There's some exciting stuff that I've got plans for there. We're going to have just a general monster dungeon as well. So one where we're going into just a general monster. We need kobolds. Yes. I've got to be a little bit careful about what I can use. Sounds brilliant, Toby. Looking forward to it. Excellent. Thank you, Steve. Need a small gelatinous cube named Roomba as a random encounter. He cleans the dungeon for cultists. Yes, I like your thinking. I've got to come up with a take on the gelatinous cube, haven't I? Because that is one of their IPs. You can't use that type of thing. But it's not all about Dungeons and Dragons, okay? Kobolds. XR529 has come in with a really good question. Will our PC get stronger with different weapons, maneuvers, stats as we go deeper into the dungeon? For the purpose of this game, you're specialised in one weapon. Now, some people have said to me, why don't we have lots of weapons or magic users? Now, that will come. We will have a weapons expansion where there'll be more choice of weapons. But if you think about it, and this is kind of what I'm thinking, right? If you're a specialist, okay, you have you fought with a sword your whole life. You know how to use a sword. You know the weight. You know your own sword. You'd stay with that, wouldn't you? If you went on, you wouldn't pick up other weapons and use them. You'd use that one weapon. So that's my kind of theory on that. It's not everybody's liking because they want to upgrade to the weapon that does more damage, but what you can see on the maneuvers table is as you level up, you can select more maneuvers that do more damage, and you can have 3 maneuvers, and you can if you figure it out, you can try and cover a lot of the numbers for when you're rolling. So basically, what you'll find is as we go deeper in, the tougher enemies and you're stronger, you will hit more. It will be more about damage management as well as you get to the big bosses. So how you can work that, and then the types of magic and special magical items that you pick up that help you fight some of these creatures. What about the slime sphere? Well, I'll write that down. Okay. I like the sound of that. We'll write that down. I'm thinking maybe some kind of gaseous cloud that dissolves things. That might be quite exciting. But Slimer said, yeah, Slimer. Maybe that should be on the Ghostbuster level. Leo, hi Toby, I'm a backer and this project and have a question about if it will have other kinds of weapons like ranged weapons. Good question. On the weapons subject, we've got ranged weapons I've thought long and hard about, but at the moment for me I can't see that there's a place for them in the game as your core weapon. Largely because ranged weapons are really designed for outdoors. So when we do the outdoors expansion, there is every chance that we'll have ranged weapons. But when you're in a room, you don't really get out your bow and arrow to fire at it, do you? Unless you're some sort of super dexterous elf that can sort of hang up in the corner of the room and fire down. I think that's partly my thinking for that. I'm trying to apply a kind of a logic, if you like, to how these characters are using their weapons. It's a great question, Leo. I have had a few people ask me that. I can't see how ranged weapons are good for solo players either, because if you're in a dungeon, say you've got like 3 players, a party of 5 players, you might have someone who's ranged at the back because they're not being attacked by anybody, because they've got some tanks and some fighters in the front stopping people getting to them, so they can pick them off with a bow. And I can't really see how that kind of works with the dungeon environment. That's just how I see it at the moment. Could we level up our own weapon with runes or spells? Andy, actually, that's a great idea, and it's something that I have been thinking about, how to work other magic streams into the content. And it may well be that something like that happens. So I like the kind of the pagan quality to runes. I'm making a note of that. Excellent idea. My armor question is, if you can enchant one armor with multiple enchantments, like a fire-touched blessed armor. Wow. That is a good point, Nick. So one of the new things that I've introduced into the game for level 2 is enchanted armor. So now, did I put it in level 2 or just put it in the most recent update? No, that's just the most recent update. So I've got lots of updates shooting around my head. So I expanded the enchanted armor system, bearing in mind what you were saying, Andy, about getting magic into your weapons. Now you can get bits of armor blessed, which gives you boosts to taking more damage. So I'm kind of trying to increase the depth of it. So that is multiple blessings. I don't see why not. I'll put that in. I will make a little note of that. Fire touched. Yeah, maybe some can't combine. Maybe a piece of armor wouldn't protect you from fire if it protected you from ice. I don't know. Maybe there's something there that is maybe slightly clashy. I'll have a look at that, Nick, but I like your thinking. Keep throwing those at me. Many thanks for the great explanation, says XR59529. I like the idea of escapalizing. I can't read that word. Specializing and getting better, hitting harder. Yes. So there's maneuvers you can do that. So that's all baked in already. Jonathan, whenever I used to play Rogue, I would very often be killed by a kobold. I see. It's the bad memories of kind of flooding back to you, are they? As you kind of as you see a kobold, you break into a sweat and run in the opposite direction. We are approaching 2,000 backers. Unbelievable. Thank you, everybody, for backing. It's so awesome. What about throwing knives? Dave, that is a good question. Some of the prime attacks for the creatures involve them throwing things. So it may be that we work something in along those lines. And so I'm definitely up for thinking about how that might work. I haven't quite got to that point yet. Next week when I review the rules, I will definitely have a little glance at that, but possibly it might be a good way actually of helping in some of the tough combat situations. And we have Blue Eye Geek. Hello Toby, congratulations on over 62,000. Thank you. I know, my mind is blown. It's so awesome. Turtle Go, maybe for weapon upgrade there can be some enhancement as like the armor. Fireblade. Well, actually, there is a spell that gives you Fireblade. So there's a scroll that does it. I think I need to make sure that scrolls and potions are readily available within the dungeon. Dungeon Master the game. Now that is a big inspiration for me as well. So, and there was a lot of potions and a lot of scrolls involved in that game. So, that's definitely something to think about. XRIS375, it seems to me you could convert this system to sci-fi. For instance, the player is a scavenger looking for salvage in a one-to-that. Exactly. Yes, the problem with statements like that is they get me far too excited. So my image, we talked about Space Hulk earlier on, is we could have a Space Hulk expansion. Because Space Hulk as a term is pretty loose, isn't it? So it would be like a massive ship that you would explore 10 levels of it. How cool would that be? All the sci-fi descriptions. I just have to take a deep breath. It's getting me all excited. Okay, I think the amount of writing for that would be just monstrous, but I would love to take that on. But that is, again, something that is in the future. A sci-fi version. So, yes. Jonathan's using the inventive usage, oil plus fire. Okay, yeah. Recipes, inventive. Well, that is a good point. I mean, you could house rule that quite easily, Jonathan. Dragon Shadow, Diablo-like enhancement with runes. Yes, we've had a that has been discussed a bit, my friend. Good to see you, and it is quite an interesting concept. It's how the runes are applied is where my mind goes to. How would they be applied to the weapon within the dungeon context? Because applying a rune to something surely is a magical process. So how would that work? And would you need tools? Would you need to meet someone in the dungeon that could do it? At the moment, it's very much a pushing forward, good against bad, good against evil type approach. So I'd have to really think about that. I do think there's some scope for the runes, so I'm excited about that as well. Range could work as a once per combat. You get to roll to see if it works or not. Beginning of combat only. Now, Patrick, the throwing knives that someone brought up, and maybe you, I don't know, that might be something that I put in that maybe it's optional, but you may find throwing daggers or stuff like that during the game that you can throw, because you basically open the door and you go in and you get the first attack, so you can cast a scroll or hit first. So maybe throwing a dagger is not stretch on those points. It's a good point. Hi Toby, concerning the Spanish translation, will the PDF translation translated as well? Thanks for a great game. Yes, it will. 40X. It will. Just bear with me one sec, people. I did briefly mention it earlier. I'm a little bit under the weather. My wife and my son have COVID, and I don't know whether I've got it. I did test a couple of days ago, and it was a negative. And my daughters don't have it either. Although my youngest daughter, she's had a cold. So I think maybe I've just got a cold. So I'm a little bit bunged up. I do apologise. I've kind of blown my nose off screen. Tim, greetings from across the pond. Backed the game a while ago and just wanted to congratulate you on a great game. Thank you, Tim. That means a lot, my friend. That's awesome. I will one day visit America. It's going to be exciting. What are we looking at here? I'm really looking forward to trying this system out. Dave, you've got to let me know how you get on, okay? Either in the Facebook, Board Game Geek, send me an email, whatever. Congratulations from the USA. DRC Fungus. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your awesomeness as well. Yep, sci-fi version would be a no-brainer. I think you're right. That is definitely coming, and that's very exciting. But I've got to focus in on this version first. Get this nailed. It's a lot of work, but I'm looking forward to it. A big hunt. Todd says big hunt. Aliens in the ventilation, lol. Yeah, I know. There's always that temptation to be drawn into that awesome lore that is Aliens. Hi Toby. Hi Grim. How you doing? Hi Toby. I'm one of the backers, and even if I can't wait to play 2D6, I say take your time. Don't rush. You have my full support. Thank you, Grim. That means a lot. You guys are awesome, and I don't just say that to try and flatter. I seriously mean it. Their support has been amazing. We all have that one goal. We want a great game, and I'm trying my hardest to bring it to you. You could pick up runes in the dungeon and get them set into the weapon back in the village. Ooh, I quite like that, Andy. That's quite a nice one. That's quite a skilled thing to be able to do, though, isn't it? Would there be someone back at the village who could do that? Or would you have to go to a city? Or would that be part of the overland expansion? It's something to think about. Dragon Shadow. Idea for rune enhancement. Find rune etched metal or take to blacksmith to meld into blade. Or if the rune etched gem, find enhancement jeweler to impart into hilt scabbard. Okay. I hear it. Dragon, you are into the rune thing. And that is good. I'll have to think about it. Okay. It may be that there are one-off scrolls in the dungeon that you find and you cast the scroll and it enhances the weapon. And that would fit nicely into the system without me having to come up with a whole bunch of new rules. And I said early on at the beginning that one of my goals is to try and keep the game as simple as I can. So having lots of extra complex rules, it's very daunting for people. So I don't want that to be a barrier to the enjoyment of the game. So I've got to think about that all the time. So that's a big thing. Did I miss your... Christopher, how you doing? What about give the throwing knife an attack first, one time using in its own maneuver dice? Yes, and its own maneuver dice. Yes. Yeah, that is definitely something that is becoming a very popular subject in today's chat, which is brilliant. And I do like the idea of it. I'm going to have to go away and have a think about the connotations. Johnny says, hi Toby, congratulations on successful Kickstarter. Thank you, Johnny. Much appreciated. Good to have you on board, my friend. Todd, can you see throwing knives as a limited use weapon? Find, yes. Extra attack on the first round of combat, yes. I think that's probably where we're going. There's a few supporters of this idea. I like it. Christopher, could have one throwing knife, axe, star, each using its own dice set. yeah, I mean, I think that sounds like a really good idea, and I'm going to have to work this option in. I'm going to have to think about it. Got to go pick the kid. Got to pick up the kiddo. We'll hop back on after. Nick, thank you. Nick, you are awesome. Thank you for supporting me and helping manage all this stuff that is going on. You know, we should talk. Nick is like Nick in the chat there. You can see it's got a little spanner by his name. He's sort of been there from the beginning, and he's like my right hand man. Alarian Darkwind says have the enhancement last for only one adventure as soon as it leaves. Yeah, limitations. I like limitations and stuff. It makes it more precious, doesn't it? If something lasts for a certain amount of time, you treasure that time. You experience that moment. Just had another backer there. Thank you, Matthew. We're pushing on. Okay. I liked how you tricked me to put gems into an amulet, then having them melt to the floor. Yes, I know. I was looking for some mechanisms that go through the game. So, kind of like, they're not quests, so to speak, but they're sort of actions you can choose to partake in. And sometimes they benefit, sometimes they don't. And that's the fun of it. It's like, just imagine the look on your face as your precious gems melt down out of the amulet. But you see, you remembered that. That's what I'm trying to pick up on. I'm trying to pick on those moments that are that tell stories, you know. Let me think here. Right, Blue Eye Geek. When I proceeded to level 2, would my new dungeon be the same size as the old dungeon? Thinking that it is below the current level, and would the stairs then match where I went down as well? Blue Eye Geek. You are on the money with that question. Well, you know, actually, I've been thinking hard about this. So I was going to demo some of the game here. But you've had so many great questions, so many great people in the chat. That's kind of been preoccupying, which is great. And this is awesome. Now, what I'm thinking is actually when you go down, the dungeon, yeah, is a level. But maybe where your room starts on the next level is that side of the dungeon. Now, because it's going in the ground, it doesn't have to line up below it, does it? And it wouldn't necessarily, if you think about it. If you look at some classic dungeon maps, like in Dungeon Master, for example, the levels don't match up from underneath. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. It's just in the ground, isn't it? So that's the way I'm looking at it now. And I think that ultimately you have to draw the outer border. So your stairs go down. And I think that what we'll do to make it fair is you'll go down to the next room and it will be on the middle of an outer border. Okay? And you can go from there and then explore out. So with the same entrance room as the first level, nothing in that room, but 3 exits, archway exits, that then lead out into the dungeon and give you lots of options. That's how I'm seeing it at the moment. Good question, Blue Eye Geek. Dave, Todd, I like where you're going. Yes, throwing, yeah, exactly. Christopher, about weapon enhancement. Say you find a gem of fire, a gem of fire sword. You can spend a ration to sit and fix the gem to the weapon, and if you find a new gems, you can spend more. Yeah, listen, Christopher. I like your thinking. I like the thinking, but what for me is that is a sort of expertise that needs like a workshop. You know, so you need the solder or whatever it is you have to do to attach it. You might need to file it down a bit. And for me, I'm trying to keep it as real as possible. So from that side of things, that would be something you would do outside town. You know, outside at the town rather than in the dungeon. So it's a tricky one. Patrick, question: will the PDF be sent released when they are done or when the physical books are done and shipped? Good question, Patrick. So what's happening is, as I finish levels, groups of levels. So remember we were talking about before, 1 and 2 are a group. They use some of the same tables. 3 and 4 are a group. They use some of the same tables. So once I finish level 2, which I have done, what I will do is I will add, I will go to my testers, get them to have a look at it, try and pick up all the errors, and then I will release the updated PDF with the new tables at the back of the tables codex. So you basically will get a kind of stream of PDF releases, the same PDF being updated each time with the levels until we get to the final PDF, and that final PDF will have all the levels in. Now, there's going to be a period, obviously, where I'm still picking up some of the small little errors. And as I was saying, it's quite complex, the grids and how it all works. But there's going to be a constant stream of material coming to the backers. That will start to happen after Kickstarter processes the payments, which is in about 2 to 3 weeks. I'll keep you updated. The testers will be on, will be checking out the level 2s and then level 3s. Level 3 is going to be a big one to write. Level 5 is going to be a big one to write. It's the levels after which are smaller. So that is going to be like my timeline. So I'm going to like push those out to people. So in a sense, you could from within a few weeks, you'll be able to start on Dungeon 1, and then a week and a half later, Dungeon 3 and 4. Then you're going to have a constant stream. So that's the aim. Okay. I'm going to try very hard to keep it to that. So I hope that explains what you were asking. Once the PDF is done, we've got all that sorted. Then we'll send it to printers. We have a printer just quite near to us who we send it all to. They produce top quality books, and then that takes about a week to get that back from them, and then we'll post it out to people. So it's on a tight schedule. We're on a tight schedule, but we're just I'm gonna plow on. What have I got here? Alexander. Hello, Toby. Of course, I have your Kickstarter support, and I'm looking forward to holding the finished work in my hands. Greetings from Austria. That is, I'd love to go to Austria. It's a beautiful. What's the capital of Austria? Beautiful city. Andy Cross. It could be good to go down a level and find yourself in the middle of the page. Yeah, it's true. I've got to think about that, and I think it's going to be probably flexible how we do it. So I will be using miniatures when I play this game, Dave says. I'm going to use my dungeon scenery, and as I go in to a room, build it as it is entered. So by the end of the level, I will have a physical map. Wow, that is mind-blowing as well. That sounds great, Dave. Take some pictures and put them on the Facebook page or Board Game Geek. Middle of the page would allow for 4 exits. True. 4 exits middle of the page. Todd, good thinking. It could be a rule. I'm writing that down. It could be a rule that if your room, the final room, is in the middle of the dungeon and you bring it down the same dimensions to the next level, which you don't have to do, it can be bigger, smaller, right? You can, if it's off one of the outer boundary walls, so often they end up against the boundary walls, then you could do 4 exits. And if it's pushed up to a boundary wall, it's 3 exits. But if it's in a corner, then that's tricky. If it's in a corner of the next level, then you've only got 2 exits you can come out by. And if you roll 2 1s, then you've got 2 dead ends. So that is a problem. I may have to come up with some kind of function, some kind of mechanic, which says that those exits cannot be dead ends or something like that. I mean, they are arches, but if you had found 2 rooms that were then dead ends after those, then your dungeon would be pretty small. So that is another problem. Right, what have we got here? My level 1 stairs vary when they go down, depending on where I finish level 1. Exactly. Secret door search. Well, actually, one of these stretch goals is a secret door search, I believe. So there's going to be that option to bring that in. So at the back of the book, back of the codex, there's going to be a whole bunch of optional tables that have come through the stretch goals. As you say, the dungeon level does not have to be directly below the last. Exactly, that's the way I see it. It could just be that it comes down maybe 4 exits. Easiest would let the player choose center room with 4 exits or war with 3. Yeah, I think so. And I think that there's going to be probably quite a chapter on going down to the next level with some examples, because it could be a catching point, this actual change. Yeah, it is a bit of a tricky one, that. So I think it could just be an option. Okay. Right. So, some fabulous questions. Now, I had said on the stream that I was going to play. We've got like 35 minutes until the end. Which table do I roll on for a small room? I'm not sure. The small... have I got the wrong... That could just be an error there. So you've got small tables for each level. Hang on a sec. Won't be a minute. Right, sorry about that, guys. Okay, as you progress down the levels, you can only return to the town through the exits you search for at the map limits, right? Yes, that's correct. So one of the things you roll for an exit, so along the wall, when you roll a 6, there's a shaft which leads up. It's a ventilation shaft for the dungeon. There's 1 per level. You find it and go up. You can't go up the actual physical levels of the dungeon and go out that way. You have to go through a ventilation shaft. You can find 1 per level, as I say, and then that allows you to go back, heal up, and do your bits. If you see what I mean. 3 backers from 2K. Oh my god. It's gone bonkers. As you progress, means that stairs close behind you. More the point, it becomes too far to go, Extris. It just becomes too far distance to travel back through the dungeon, and too risky. You know, there's so many different possibilities. There could be patrols around there. You're pushing to the bottom of the dungeon. The ventilation shaft allows you quick in and out, so nobody knows. But if you then make your presence known, which is part of the problem with this, that the people are in a position where they're like, oh, we can just go back up the stairs. Well, no, because you'll get people. The dungeon's a living entity. People will find out you're there and be alerted if you're backtracking and you're in a position where you maybe try and flee from something, which isn't part of the game. Then they'll go away and alert people, and there'll be a whole bunch of people from the dungeon come at you. So you're kind of pushing forward on an adventure, a quick adventure, to try and reach the bottom of the dungeon and kill as many of the threat as possible. Once you've done that, then the dungeon, in a sense, becomes sort of defunct, and you've kind of saved the surface world from this presence. What have we got here? On an entrance room to the next level of the dungeon, in the middle of the level, I would think you still only have 3 exits because the stairs would be on one of the walls. Potentially. I mean, it could go down like a shaft into the middle of the room. Arguably, it could do. Scroll of recall only works from like magic doors that get you to different levels of areas. Yes. Well, not to different levels, but there will be magic doors. There's going to be portals, but they're going to be they're going to push you in certain directions, but they're lower down. So, for example, a new form of door in level 3 and 4 is the stone slab, because you're in like a crypt. So there are problems with facing a stone's. Although I haven't actually. Yeah, that's in level 3. So stone slab. So there are going to be new forms of doorway that come into the game. Yes, it is. Level 1 small rooms. So if maybe there's a reference to that it shouldn't be there. Just bear with me 1 sec. Oh God, sorry guys, I'm a bit under the weather. Is that 2,000 backers? Unbelievable. That is oh boy. I don't know whether I'll be able to play it now anyway. Even if I did, my brain's all over the place. Oh, guys, thank you. I'm reading the version 0.9 rulebook page 13. Yes. Okay. Oh, thank you guys. No, I appreciate that. Right, shall we have a quick look at some of the a couple of really large room dimension rolls I've had made me keep thinking that needs to be columns spaced around for supporting of the ceiling. Exactly, and that is something that you could easily put in there. Just draw them in. Just go for it. You know, feel free to. I think I was the 2000 backer. Thank you 40X. Appreciate that. Right, so if we're not going to quite get to actually playing it, I will definitely play this. I think the excitement of the Kickstarter has kind of taken over a little bit, but I will definitely play this very soon. I will probably do another stream. What day is it today? Maybe on Friday. Maybe I'll do a stream on Friday. Maybe Thursday. We'll see. I'll try and do it later as well, so that we get you guys in America get a chance to come across, because we are 7 hours or 6 hours ahead of a lot of America, so it's kind of like during the day for you guys, and it's much harder to come in. So I'll kind of try and do it late. Do another stream, yes, Dave. I will. Just to join. Make sure. Well, I guess in a say, I don't want to sound like one of those pushy YouTubers, but you could always get the alerts on the channel, and you will be able to see when I go live. And I try and put it on the Facebook group as well. Beer and live streams, excellent. West Coast US here. It's 1:30 p.m. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. I can't reply to the comments at the moment, but thank you for leaving that comment, Mike. So here are the new creatures. Let's have a look at these. So we have got. Let's put these guys first. So a lot of the creatures that are on the second level, there's quite a few first level creatures that come in, but only the more stronger ones. So I've sifted the first level, the first level creatures that are weak do not appear in the level 2 of the dungeon. Okay, so like the labourer, as far as I'm sure. So we've got the table in here. They've been added to the back, and you can see here the level 2 tables, guards, mercenaries, barrack knights. There is a labourer there, one low-level labourer. I thought there might be one, and I might actually nerf that and take that out of there. But we have the mercenary. Yes. I shall talk through some of these. Okay, bear with me. I'm just going to blow my nose off screen. Sorry, guys. God dear, the only time I get ill is the one night that's the big night. Okay, so right, we've got the mercenary here. He's these well-armored hired hands have embedded themselves in the running of the dungeon, but remain independent. They're skilled warriors and know it. I've got another comment on the thing there. So these guys are quite vicious. You'll notice that they have that with the level 2, you've got quite a bit of plus 2s with searches. In fact, that may be pouch table 3. Let me just check this here. That may be something I need to correct already. This is going to be something that my testers are going to pick up on. So we have got, yeah, so that needs to be corrected to pouch level 2, but that's fine. I'll sort that out. We've got the Mystic, who is a similar line. She's or they are part of the kind of apothecary, the kind of mystical side of the dungeon, and a bit like some of the clerics. They have that sort of magic about them, and they have more. The damage is up a little bit. It's only up a little bit. The next level isn't going to be massively difficult. It's going to be something that is achievable. We have so the mercenary is kind of a rougher character but tougher. The Mystic is more powerful, and then we have the Adept here. Now the Adept is a kind of more like a general type manager, if you like, within the dungeon. Now they will, for example, replace the some of the stats for the labourer and the and just general jobs. So they are more skilled. So the Adepts are trusted managers of the dungeon, organising the staff and operations. They paint red slashes on their faces, wear grey robes, and carry short staffs. You'll see here they have shift 2. Missing the Overseer in the new level, Toby. Just entered. Yeah. The Overseer should be taken out. Which one is that? That is because basically I had to rename. This is part of the design process. Overseer. Which room is that in? Let's have a look at that. In the kennel. Okay. So it's the Adept. So basically, I've got an Overlord and I had an Overseer, and I thought, oh dear, they're too similar, far too similar. So I changed the Overseer to Adept, which I think actually is better. They're going to replace the more competent workers with those stats. So, and then you have the Overlord. Now the Overlord is the boss. 22 hit points. Okay, they appear in the throne room, and which appears once in level 2, and it will always appear, even if it doesn't appear during the level, it will appear in the last room with the stairs, okay? And that is outlined in the new rule set. The boss rooms will often appear in the last room. Now, for example, he's got much more sort of padding, if you like. He's got 70 XP, and as far as the XP is concerned, there are more ways of gaining experience points. You have to make sure you can get enough experience points to make it to the next level. It's all about that balance, isn't it? And the testing is going to try that out. Would using life drain damage as heal be too OP? Well, we've got one that does do that on one level. Which character was that? One of the other characters in here does that. It's on the first level. And the dark, I think it's a dark. Yes, here we go. The dark magic haze on secondary 1s and 2s. The dark cleric heals 1 point of damage if injured and gains 1 point if not. So quite possibly, for the moment, I'm trying to keep that one fairly straightforward. A design thing with the cards. Could you move the info to the top right, to the top left? You don't need to say name on every card. As yeah, Leopard. You're right. You're right. It is the way that I look at. I know I've had the debate about cards is a tricky one. See, for me, these are just like mini tables. Whereas I know a lot of people would like to sort of redesign them into something that is more kind of flowery, but they're just really offering up information. And yes, the name thing is a good point. You know, it's like with those occasions you point something out that's obvious, and then you don't see it yourself. But I'm just kind of filling in the information as the designer. So you kind of look beyond stuff like that sometimes, and you kind of hope that people will point these things out. Of course, for me to redesign all the cards again, it becomes increasingly difficult as I get more and more cards, and it eats up more of my time. I've had to do a considerable amount of time just redoing the layout of the tables and researching what looks better and all that type of stuff. So that has been really tricky. But yes, there probably could be some improvements, but they serve. I'm quite pleased with how they are. They're information cards. You miss. What have we got here? A design thing. All right. Overseer is also in table. Right. Okay. Thank you. They are. That is terrible. I've missed that. L1W. Yeah. Workers. Okay. It is the adept now, which is that overseer, because the name clashes. Overlord and overseer. They're just too similar. It would confuse people, and confuse me. So we've got those four there. So we're kind of expanding out the religious side a little bit. We've got a boss. We've got a general kind of person who can replace and do skilled jobs, but is also quite skilled at fighting. A mercenary, which brings in another element to the dungeon. And then we've got 3 more here. We've got a brown bear here. Right claws and left claws. He's kind of one of the weaker creatures in this level. Could you lighten the lines in the same section? Interrupt. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about doing that. It's definitely something that might happen, so it's a possibility. Maybe put dotted lines, potentially. I know that there are visual barriers to some of the text. People aren't used to seeing these heavy lines. I know it's a pain. It's part of how the design came out when I laying the tables down. For me to lighten these lines in the design is tricky because they're all one thing. So if I lighten that, then the edges get lighter as well, which doesn't mean that I shouldn't do it. It's just that given my time, you know, I kind of feel like getting the rest of the game design is probably takes priority, to be honest. So there's the brown bear. We've got the barrack knight. Okay, so there are an order, part of the barrack order. The well-armoured barrack knights are a group of trained warriors who serve the overlord and follow an oath to protect the subterranean world from that which is above. Okay, so he's one of the powerful guys in the dungeon, and that he's the knights. The word comes from barbaric. Okay, so before they were knights, before they were given the knight's title by the overlords of the dungeons, they were just kind of warriors who were good fighters, and then they were given more of a cause, and they became the Barrack Knights, dropping the bar from the name and just Barrack Knights. So there's a kind of, I'm trying to work some of the lore of the game into it as well, which is exciting. I like to do that sort of thing. Xavier, I can help with some of the design editing, Toby. Let me know if you want me to send you an email. Yeah, look. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. And listen, please email me, toby@drgames.co.uk. You can see my website on the site there. Let me know. Listen, I am constantly updating these things. So what people are encouraged to do at the moment is to take the design and then redesign it themselves. And I just feel terrible because I know that I'm going to be changing that and then have to tell that person to change their design or add something in. So what I'm kind of waiting for is that moment when, in 8 weeks, we've got much more of a game and I could say, right, they are done. If you want to try and do some design for that, go ahead. I'll give you credits for that sort of thing. But at the moment, and this is the thing, like Bob, my mate Bob, he's putting the tables. He's for the codex. There's going to be a tablet version where you can just scroll through it and it's all the same way. It's all horizontal landscape, and he keeps doing it for me, which is wonderful. But they're going to keep changing. He's going to have to keep updating it, and that's where I'm at basically. I'm kind of like all these awesome people, and I'm like, I'm going to change that. So you're going to have to change it, and I just feel bad about putting that sort of extra burden on people. If you see what I'm saying. So the Barrack Knights are there. There's going to be some kind of undead Barrack Knight, some sort of for the next levels. So that their story is going to continue. And then we have the Sporal Rapnel. Now this is a more powerful fungi type monster, following on from the other ones we've got down here in the level 1 set. Where are they? So we've got Fungal Geist, we've got Musty Bloater, the Slimy Gorger. So for me, dungeons are, you often find sort of run-down areas. I just thought it was a great way to introduce a type of monster or creature that would be fungi-based. So this is the more powerful version for the first 2 levels, the Sporal Rapnel. And there is one room that appears in, and you have to deal with it. So it's harder, it's got higher hit points, it's got more selection, the spore projectile, the head bash, stuff like this. From a pulsing mass of fungi rises a large head, as if a giant sunflower. It has a central mouth throbbing with red spores, surrounded by green tentacles. It rattles as if a snake and attacks. There you go. That is a thing. That is a terrible, scary thing. I mean, I do love creating monsters, and with these creatures, I did some writing for a Mork Borg bestiary for Quintin, and I wrote the monsters, designed the monsters for his latest project, and I used these names in there. So these 3, the Fungal Geist, the Musty Bloater, and the Slimy Gorger, I want to kind of expand out and give them more of a heritage, more of a history. So I'm always interested in the design side of it, things there. Toby, can you say the name of each god, please? Would be great to hear if the designer intended as... Yes, I can. Yes. Funga's always fun, hence the name. And at the moment, it's particularly appropriate with The Last of Us, isn't it? I saw that, and because I designed these creatures before I saw or knew much about Last of Us. So it's kind of interesting how that's kind of then inspired me as well. I will read these out. I do have it in my head to design my own versions of the cards if I find I can improve them for my play style or needs. Jonathan, look, just hold off for the minute until because I think we're going to have a lot of community content that people can use. I'm happy for that to be the case. I want to have an open license on the tables so people can write their own tables, and then people then can use my rules to then play those tables and that type of thing. Yes, we'll talk more about the layer expansion in just a sec. I would probably also remake the table PDFs for myself too. Yeah, I'm sure that, again, that the same thing goes for the tables. I've experimented lots with the tables and with different tones, different shades, different fonts, and the one I'm using at the moment, just you wouldn't look at it and think it is, but it is the best one I can find to read the groups of text. It's a big debate going on with that. I mean, when the data is all yes, Jonathan, excellent. Patrick says, as someone who lives in Kansas City, I can verify we would go that crazy if given the chance. I can verify we would go that crazy if given the chance. I'm a web designer, Jonathan says, so I know a bit about managing and presenting data. I'm sure. Listen, one thing that's exciting is the job profiles of some of the people that are coming into help are staggering. The people tell me the things they do, and I'm like, wow, there's such transferable skills and knowledge to something like this. Right. So, this is how I say the god names. This is Radicina the Radix. Okay? She's of the earth. She's knows the roots that run the earth with their life. This is Intuneric the Merc. Intuneric is of the darkness and the unseen. He is absence. This is Mars says, Nosworthy, Mars says, can you anger gods as well pleasing one god, anger another? Yeah, I mean, there are some things being written into the sets where gods take revenge. So some of the tables have included bad things that can happen because of a god's presence. So that is definitely working in. So yeah, I see what you're saying, and it is a really good point. At the moment, that might just make things a little bit too complex for the rule system to have another system on top of the gods system, whereby if you don't do something, you'd have to manage that, keep a track of that, and at the moment it doesn't quite fit in. But it's not that isn't in the back of my mind, and the fact that you mention it there is also good, because that kind of jogs it back up there. Now this is Moldova. Okay, Moldova, the rot. Moldova the rot. Neverzeta the blind. Lost and blind, but understands this darkness. And Gracada the core. And the hardest one to say, Muratani the pulp. Muratani the pulp. So that's the gods. Hopefully that ticks the boxes. But you could say it however you like, okay? Because if you think about it, gods over time, they have slightly changed names, don't they? So it doesn't matter, Right. Here we go. I'm not bragging when I say a bit. The pledges are coming in. We've got 7 minutes left, people. 7 minutes left. Manchester City beat Bayern Munich 3-0. That just popped up on my phone. Can you anger? I'm an animator at Rockstar Games here in Edinburgh. But in the past life, I worked as a teacher in graphic design for 7 years. Lots of transferable skills, honestly. Wow. Javier, that is awesome. Rockstar Games. Get out of it. That isn't the guys that made Rockstar Ate My Hamster, is it? It's not, is it? No, that's just a coincidence. It just makes me think of it because it's Rockstar. God Wars. Blimey. That would be... Raymond has pledged £46. Thank you, Raymond. If that's the Raymond I know, it probably isn't. Raymond's a big backer. He's a good chap. What have we got here? Miles, Scott and others have definitely angered the dice gods. Yeah, God Wars. Wow, how would I manage that? That is 5 minutes. 5 minutes away, people. Text hasn't been an issue for me. It's the pips on the dice in the tables, a little light for my old eyes to read easily if you don't have any desk lamp. Right, so I've increased the size of those, so they are bigger now, and I've outlined them, so they are easier to read. So I've kind of listened to you saying that, Todd. So hopefully that does make it a bit easier. I still haven't ruled out putting one black, but I still think the white dot in the middle is almost harder to read than the black dot in the middle of the white. I'm still kind of thinking about that. As games we look, read, and then go to the, oh, I can do this. I wonder if we can do that. It's definitely a gamer thing we all do. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. And you know, it's the passion people have. It's fine. People are telling me, oh, can you add this, can you do this? I don't mind that at all. Honestly, I'm just... The thing that is overwhelming is the amount of awesome support that I've got. And that is a good overwhelming. It's something that has driven me on and inspired me. I'm in a constant buzz because people send me feedback, or they send me a game, or they upload their maps to Facebook. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And it's just like, this is going well. We're creating something here that everybody can get on board with. All right. Declan says hi. Hi, Declan. Hope you're well. Gokada reminds me of The Homeless Lady from Mulholland Drive by David Lynch. Oh, it's so funny, right? Gokada is she is much talked about. Where has she gone? Where did I put those god cards? So Gokada is like a point of amusement. Her face, it just is hilarious. There's been another video recently, and one of the guys doing a review of the game, he spent about 5 minutes talking about this picture. This is awesome. I thought it was... hang on. We are 3 minutes to go, people. 3 minutes. I thought it was a Daily Star who made Rockstar Eat My Hamster. Oh. They may have been sponsored by the Daily Star. I think it appears on there, doesn't it? But I don't know whether they actually made it, did they? I think it was just an indie publisher. I think they definitely had some stuff on there. Turtle Goes has put 3 minutes. 2 minutes. Maybe if you anger a god, you could just block off one favour point square so you never reach a full set of 6 favours. Yeah, now that's a difficult one. That's a timescale thing, and I'm kind of wondering whether that would actually be something that is detrimental as the game moves forward. Because if you angered a load of gods and then you had to say 2 boxes ticked in each one, how would you it might mean that you really struggle later in the game. That's a long projection thing. That might be an optional rule that then comes in to sort of increase the difficulty, maybe. Will it get to 63k? What are we on? Oh my god, 62,956. 100 seconds. Oh my word. The sun did Freddy Starr ate my hamster. Oh, okay. Ah. Rather than Rockstar. Oh, I love that game. Guys, this has been so awesome. I just Lee has just pledged £6. We have made it. No, we haven't quite made it to that. Congratulations, Toby. Hope that you and your family are feeling better soon. Dr. Awkward, thank you. Yes, I have. Sorry, I've been a bit snotty, but how exciting! And just like, thank you guys. Here we go. Right, this is it. Here we go. You ready? Thank you guys. I got a prop out. Thank you. Awesome. It's all because of you. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers. Congratulations to everybody involved. Steve says it is true. It has been an awesome project. What an amazing experience it's been. But this is just the beginning. Let's not forget that. This is the beginning. From now on, it's going to be a constant stream of development. I'm going to be sending stuff out to people. And yes, this is just the beginning. We've got some great adventures to come. Thank you for the questions this evening. So, good timing popping the cork, yeah. Congratulations, says Robert. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Matt. I'm going to... so, the next stage is immediately... I'm going to put the link on the page so people late pledges, because I suspect there'll be quite a lot of late pledges. So we do that, and then I will send out the surveys in a minute. So I will end the stream in a minute. Declan says he loves 2D6 and days he can't wait for level 2. Exactly. I've sent you level 2, Nick, so you can have a look at that. There's one or two errors with the Overseer, which is actually the Adept, but that's awesome. So late pledges. So if someone comes to the page and they find a Kickstarter, or someone talks about it, they can go to the page on Kickstarter and there'll be a link. Click on that link and it takes you to a form that late pledges can fill out, and then that information goes onto our database here at home, and then they will then be included in the campaign. So that's a common practice within Kickstarters. So Brian, thank you, congrats, been having fun playing the PMP print and play rules, can't wait for the hardbound book and more levels. I cannot wait to hold that book in my hand, and there will be new levels very soon. So I put the late pledges link up. I'm going to send out the surveys this evening, so you'll be all getting emails this evening, all backers, and then in about 2 weeks, it's like 2 to 3 weeks, Kickstarter then processes the payments. There's over 2,000 people are backed, so there's a period whereby they give people a chance to pay. And so once that period's ended, then I will start sending out the product, the latest products, the latest PDF updates. So you'll be like, level 2 will definitely be ready for that time for those people. And we'll see more levels appear, and I will be putting updates on the Kickstarter, letting people know that they should have access to the new updated PDF. In fact, there'll be one link that people can download it from as well. So, yeah. We'll send you 2 level updates tonight or tomorrow. Congrats on the massive success, Nick. Thank you, my friend. Do we need to send the payment, or will it automatically come out? It automatically comes out. If there's a problem, they'll try and take it 2 times, I think. You should get some details if it doesn't. No, I haven't actually. I've backed quite a few Kickstarters over the years, and I can't remember not being able to pay, but you've got the survey coming, and there'll be certain information that you need to fill in for us to be able to send you stuff. So, like, obviously your address. But if we get to when Kickstarter sends us the money, and there's a bunch of people that haven't sent us information, we will chase those people up so we can get that product to those people. So there's definitely a concerted effort on our part to make sure that the people that have backed get their books. So that is largely where we're at. Okay. So guys, I do apologise for being a bit sniffly this evening. It's been 2017 backers project reached its funny. Yes, it did. Thank you, Robert. Are you using a pledge manager, or do you take care of everything? We take care of everything ourselves. I mean, Kickstarter's pretty good anyway. Pledge manager takes another percentage of our earnings when we're set up here as a full-time business, so we can kind of operate it from here and get it out. And we reduce our carbon footprint by not having more companies involved and big printing companies in China and stuff like that. So we try and reduce it down as much as possible. Okay. Right, guys. So if you've got any more questions, you can email me, put them on the Facebook group. I'm doing a big rules update next week. So those people who have sent me rules observations, don't don't worry too much about those at the moment. They will go in next week. The ones that I feel fit into the system. Okay, so don't forget that you may have sent me a correction. It's like you maybe look at the rules and think, oh, that hasn't been updated yet. Well, it will be, especially if it's an error or a typo. Those will be dealt with next week. So that is coming. All the feedback is wonderful. So keep it coming. We're building a really great community. A shout out to Daniel at Dungeon Dive. Get over to his channel and give him a follow. He has been hugely influential at helping promote this game. So a big thanks goes out to Daniel. He is awesome. If you go in there and it's the first time you see him, tell him that Toby has sent you, because I want him to feel like I'm kind of giving stuff back to him as well. His video that he did on 2D6 Dungeon is his biggest video for a while, so that's also I'm pleased about that, because that's good for his channel. So there'll be more stuff going there, no doubt. So that is awesome. The Endless Woods, sorry, hi everyone, sorry if this was already answered, I'm over late, but will there be an additional Ancestries coming out? There will be, and there will be additional yes. So prediction is we'll have a big we'll have a series of expansions coming either at the end of the year or next year. There's going to be huge expansions, and it looks, well, this campaign has guaranteed a healthy future for this game. So they are going to be there. The future is bright. Okay, guys, I'm going to go and send those surveys now. So check your inboxes. It's going to take me 10 minutes to do that. And then I'm also going to put that link up on that page. So, guys, thanks. Thanks for being part of the stream today. I have to lean across here. It's a bit of a pain, really. But, no, I really appreciate everything that everybody's contributed to the stream today. It's been fantastic. Yes, and I will get Steve's right. Get well soon. Thank you, my friend. I will. Steve's hardcore. He's a big backer, and that's been a huge help, guys. All right, I will catch up with you very